Welcome to Football with Cheese. In today's video, we're going to go over the George Pickens trade from the Steelers to the Cowboys. Woke up to that, a little surprised at the timing, but make sure you are subscribed if you have not and hit the bell for notifications so you never miss a video. So, a lot of Steelers fans aren't too happy, and there are even a few Cowboys fans that are a little perplexed. Most of them are happy as well. Let's just talk about Pickens first, who he is. He was a second-round pick 3 years ago in the 2022 draft out of Georgia. As a prospect, he was projected to go higher than pick 52 overall. He had some injury issues at Georgia, but when he played, he was terrific. He's a good route runner, unbelievable in contested catches. A lot of people thought he would go early second round. He falls to the late second round because of maturity issues. There were some Georgia coaches, this is a rumor, that even told teams he's immature, he's going to be a rough locker room guy, rub some people the wrong way. That's why he fell. Pittsburgh will typically take a chance on one or two of these types at a time. There are some teams that wouldn't mind having 3 or 4 or 5 of these guys in their locker room. But the Steelers have a good culture. They have strong leaders in the locker room like TJ Watt and Cameron Hayward. So they don't mind having 1 or 2 of these guys because it is a strong culture in the locker room. But there were rumors before the draft, once they acquired DK Metcalf, even before that they wanted to move on from Pickens. But you really couldn't do it because the wide receiver room was really bad. Then they trade for Metcalf. And then I thought they'd trade Pickens, but it looked like they were going to keep him. There was really nothing about trading Pickens. So you're like, wow, that's a really good wide receiver room. Pickens on one side, Metcalf on the other. There were even rumors the Steelers were interested in Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver Ohio State, at pick 21. Egbuka went 2 picks before the Buccaneers. The Steelers took defensive tackle Derek Hartman from Oregon. Makes sense. That also fits a need. But before we dive into the Steelers, let's just talk about the Cowboys from their perspective. So the Cowboys really need a number 2 receiver opposite CeeDee Lamb. And the draft just didn't fall that way for them to draft a receiver. They decided to go guard in the first round, and they lucked out. In the second round, they got edge rusher Donovan Ezeraku. In the third round, they got Savon Ravel, cornerback, East Carolina. Those were the best players on the board when they picked. So they did not reach for a wide receiver. The rumor was Cowboys were interested in a reunion with Amari Cooper, who had played for the Browns and Bills last year. He was really productive as a Cowboy. For salary cap reasons, they traded him a few years back for some late round picks. But Cooper isn't the receiver he used to be. He really did not mesh well in Buffalo, so he is a risk. Pickens is a much better player at this point. And if you're the Cowboys, you didn't have to go up a third rounder this year. I'm sure these teams were talking before the draft, but there's no way the Cowboys were giving up a pick in the 70s in this year's draft. And they didn't have a 4th rounder. That's probably why this trade did not happen before the draft. I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas offered a 5th rounder in this year's draft and then another 4th or 5th next year, and the Steelers said, no, we need something better. So that's why it didn't happen in this year's draft. I don't know if other teams were involved. There was a rumor that the Packers were interested in Pickens. I did not believe that for a second. They rarely give up draft capital for veteran players, especially ones who only have 1 year left on their contract and someone who might not be the best locker room guy. So I knew that wasn't going to happen. But you know how it works. A lot of agents will leak teams that need help at the position that they're interested in, even if they're not, just to use it as leverage against other teams. But with the Cowboys, if they like him and he plays well, they can extend him or let him walk in free agency, and they'll probably get a 4th rounder back in the 2027 draft for a compensatory pick. The Steelers' perspective, their receiving room was not even that great with Pickens and Metcalf because that's all you really had. I'm looking at their depth chart, and Roman Wilson, 3rd round pick last year. I liked him coming out, but he got hurt. He's an unknown. Calvin Austin is more of a number 4 or 5. I signed Robert Woods, the veteran, but he's not nearly what he used to be. He can't separate like he used to. There's just not much there. What the Steelers might need to do is just not even sign Aaron Rodgers and just punt on the season. I'm serious. They need a quarterback. Punt on the season. Let's pick in the top 10, maybe top 5 next year. Start Mason Rudolph at quarterback, and let's get someone next year because the quarterback class should be pretty darn good. More on that in a video later this summer. The thing with Aaron Rodgers, though, he likely knew about this because I think the Steelers didn't just all of a sudden decide to trade him. I think they've been working on it. If they had gone receiver high, then this would have made more sense. They'd taken Egbuka or traded up for him or taken a different receiver like a Matthew Golden who went 2 picks later to Green Bay. But I think this was in the works. I think they tried to trade him before the draft but just didn't get the offer they liked. And I think Aaron Rodgers likely knew about this because he was throwing with DK Metcalf. He was not throwing with Pickens. Maybe Pickens just wasn't at the facility to throw with him. I don't know. But I doubt that Aaron Rodgers didn't know about this. And if he didn't, he's probably not going to be happy. It's just not a good situation. They don't have the receivers to win a title. And the free agents out there, like an Amari Cooper, isn't going to turn the needle. And all of a sudden they're a contender. So I think the Steelers realize maybe we're not a contender. Let's go ahead and get rid of him, get a pick next year, not wait till 2027, get him out of the locker room. But the Steelers' outlook right now is not looking good because Pickens was a very productive receiver. He led the NFL in yards per catch in 2023. He made some huge plays down the stretch in the playoffs. And you just don't have a player like that to replace it. DK Metcalf is their only real receiving option that you're worried about if you're a defensive coordinator playing the Steelers. And Aaron Rodgers isn't winning you a Super Bowl. He's still a decent quarterback. He's still a good quarterback, probably. He's just not what he used to be. And there's just not enough weapons for him. So I'm the Steelers, unfortunately. I'm rolling with Mason Rudolph and Will Howard. Maybe he's my backup, the rookie 6th-round pick. And not signing Rodgers. And maybe we just have a down year and let's go for it the next. I know the players won't like it. I know the fans will definitely not like it in Pittsburgh. But that's my thoughts. So what do you guys think? Who won this trade? Was it the Cowboys? Was it the Steelers? Do you think it was good to just go ahead and get rid of Pickens now? Should you have kept him for another year? Let me know in the comments. If you have not, please subscribe to this video now and enable alerts so you never miss a video. If you enjoyed it, please give a like. Share this with anyone who loves football so we can grow the channel. If you have not seen these videos, check them out right here. I have a final thoughts on the draft video coming tomorrow, and I will see you in the next one.